Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your girl, Miss Sophia the Diva. And since I did not do my show Tuesday night, my guest canceled. It was raining. And then on top of that, we do the show out of the battery. And we do it out the battery. And if there's an event or a Braves game, which we know the Braves had to go home, but there was an event. So parking is usually like $20. And I usually don't have $20 because y'all know it's Justin J says I'm on the corner of struggle and I don't give a fuck right now. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. But I want to come on and do the topics that I was going to talk about anyway, and also to talk about other things that we could be talking about, just as people roll in and comment, I'll talk about pretty much whatever. If y'all remember my friends and family from back in the day when I lived in California, y'all know that I used to do this back in the day. Now, I will tell you this, though. The future of my radio show is now definitely uncertain. Number one, I never got a sponsor. And number two, I just financially cannot do it. And I'm okay with that. So, the thing is that you keep going. Okay. And plus some other things transpired too. And I'm just like, okay. Anyway, once I get more details, I will delve more into that with you guys. But so this is a Diva Disturb After Dark on Friday night, although it's not dark for some of y'all, like my West Coast peeps. I know it's not dark. By the way, y'all like my hair? I love my hair. I had to go get something done to it because shout out to my girl, Shia Styles. She was on the show a couple of weeks ago. She is a hairstylist and an actress, and I saw her hair and I was like, I really, really want to get my hair done like that because I need a protective style because I'm tired of wearing wigs for right now, number one. And number two, because of the medications and stuff that I'm on, my hair is shedding a lot and it's breaking off. If you're on high blood pressure meds, that will happen. So I had to do something to protect my hair because I'm still trying to grow it out, although my hair is very, very strong. But if y'all need her information, these are called goddess locks, but they're crocheted in. So that's what I had done to my hair. Although one of my friends was like, you're giving me that Nubian vibe. I was like, I don't know why, because my hair is very African. The original African. Okay. So either way, let's get into it. So we want to say, first of all, rest in peace to Representative Elijah Cummings. He died this week. And actually, can you believe it? Angry Wig actually paid him some nice condolences. Okay. But they said that the Honorable Elijah Cummings was such a great spirit or whatever. So everyone on both sides got along with him. So, and it's just really sad that he passed away at this very crucial time when we're trying to impeach Angry Wig. So we want to say rest in peace and condolences to him and his family. I'm sure there will be some sort of broadcast of his funeral as he served, I think, 12 terms in the House of Representatives. The U.S. House of Representatives. So, and who will succeed him in his seat, that is unknown at this time. Okay, so I'm just going to go through all the different topics I had up. One of the big ones that all of us were shocked and appalled by that I found in the Washington Post, because at first I didn't want to believe that this article was real. But there are some healthcare workers out there that thought it would be really cute and funny to use patients who are suffering from some form of dementia and have a fight club with them. According to the Washington Post, the headline is elderly care staff accused of running a dementia fight club, pitting patients against each other. 3 women have been charged with creating a makeshift fight club in an elderly care facility in North Carolina. Their fighters were the dementia patients under their care at Danby House, an assisted living facility in Winston-Salem. Marilyn Letitia McKee, 32, Tanasia Yvonne Tyson, 20, and Tanisha Deshawn Jordan, 26, were arrested and charged with assault on an individual with a disability in early October, according to authorities. According to court documents, McKee, Tyson, and Deshawn filmed 2 residents in Danby's House Special Care Unit for Dementia patients and encouraged them to fight. Resident 8 and 9, as the women are referred to in the documents, fought in Resident 8's room as the trio of healthcare workers watched and recorded on the phone, according to the Journal. One woman was 70 years old and the other was 73. Videos show the patients falling onto a bed in Resident 8's room as Resident 9 continued her assault, according to court documents reviewed by Journal. One shouted for help but received none. According to the accounts reported by the Winston-Salem Journal, one of the 3 Danby House employees can be heard in the video saying, "Stop screaming," expletive. Someone also prompts one of the residents to punch her in the face. Another is concerned that the phone is actually recording a video so that it could be sent to her later. These are the type of low lives and low budget people that are watching your elderly. That's why it is imperative and important that if you do have to put your loved one in a care facility, go check on them, do pop-up visits. Don't have an established schedule. Just go in. I know when my aunt was in a facility, my cousin was always doing pop-up visits on that ass. Okay, so just always make sure if you got to put your loved ones in a care facility, you know, be sure you pop up and check on them at all times, because there are people out here that are just low down and dirty. Hey, Audrey. Hey, Shelly. By the way, for all of us who are single, according to the World Health Organization, being single is now a disability. I need my SSI check, okay? I've been single a long time and I really need a check. Okay, so give me my motherfucking money. Okay, no. But let me expound upon why they're saying it's a disability. According to the Telegraph, the WHO, which is known as the World Health Organization, will change its definition of disabilities to classify people without a sexual partner as infertile. The controversial new classification will make it so that heterosexual single men and women, as well as gay men and women who are seeking IVF, that's in vitro fertilization, to have a child will receive the same priority as couples. This could make access to public funds for IVF available to all. And I quite frankly cannot help but agree with them that being single is a disability, as it is a disability to my pocketbook, because I ain't got no kids to write off, nothing. I've been trying to ask some of my friends that's got multiple children, can I use one of yours? Because Diva on struggle, it would be nice to get a check, because I ain't seen a check since 2006 from the IRS. Okay, they be taking all my money. It's hard out here being single. But if you live in America, and y'all know we have the ADA, which is the American Disabilities Act, a person with a disability is defined as someone with a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. I feel like because of my lack of having children, the IRS is impeding my life as far as rightful enjoyment. Is that a disability? That's what it sounds like to me. Y'all know I'm thinking legal terms. Loopholes. Okay, so anyways, it also says a person who has a history or record of such an impairment, or a person who is perceived by others as having such an impairment. Because the ADA does not name all of the impairments that are covered, the new WHO guidelines could apply or even be unnecessary. After all, having children is a major life activity for many people. I concur. And I also feel like my pocketbook requires me to have a major life activity, and I would like some money. So therefore, I need my SSI check. Unless some of my friends out there want to donate some of their children to the Diva Need a Tax Write-Off Fund, that would be great. Thank you. As y'all know, Joshua Brown, who really did not want to testify in the Amber Geiger case on behalf of Botham Jean, since he has testified, a lot has come out about this young man, which I did learn he did testify when the prosecutors, being preemptive before the plaintiff's attorney, the defense counsel, could get there, basically asked him, you know, had he ever been arrested for drugs? And, you know, he talked about his drug conviction and his criminal history. So, yeah, but the jury still convicted that ass. Okay. So now they coming out with all these stories about he has a long history of being a drug dealer, which none of that came out in the trial. It just seemed like there was some petty crimes going on. So nobody is buying, according to the Root, as they put it, Dallas PD's bullshit story about Joshua Brown's death. They wrote, the Dallas Police Department just came up with a story so far-fetched, I'm going to stop roasting both Empire and Power for some of the ridiculous shit that happens on both of these soapy ass shows that I cannot stop watching. Joshua Brown, 28, was shot and killed Friday night, a week after he served as a witness for the prosecution of the murder trial of former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger, who was charged in the death of Botham Jean in September 2018. When news broke that he was gunned down in the parking lot of his apartment complex as he exited his vehicle, many speculated that he had been snuffed out by the police or by order of the police. Malcolm X has a saying that sometimes they will send one of us to kill one of us so that they can say it was one of us. I think, people, this is such a far-fetched story. Who the hell drives from Louisiana to Dallas to get some weed when Texas don't even have weed that's legal and good? Living on the West Coast, you can get good weed from California to Oregon to Washington State. Not to mention the nation's capital, pot is legal. I think medical, but okay. And then you got Colorado, and I think there's a couple of other cities. So Dallas, nice try. Your story is cockamamie and full of shenanigans. We're not buying it. I call bullshit. Okay. Let's see. What else? Oh, and speaking of which, right next door in the county next door of Tarrant County, please don't call the police for me to do a wellness check. Instead, why don't you come and check on me instead? Because I don't want to be murdered sitting inside of my house. I hear a noise. I get my gun. There's a flashlight that flashes before my eyes, and I have no clue what happened because I'm dead to the floor because a Tarrant County police officer shot me down. I think it was the Fort Worth police, but I just know it was what was the young woman named? Atiana. What was her name? Oh, Atiana Jefferson. And one of the former Dallas Mavericks will be paying for her funeral. So shout out to him for doing that. Okay. As y'all know, I appeared on my friend Keon's podcast recently, and he does a podcast about love, and I like his topics, about Black love. Okay. And so there's an article out of the Thought Catalog that says, stay single until you love someone this way. And I'm just going to highlight them. If you guys want to talk about them a little bit more in depth, we can. But I'm just trying to fly through these because I'm just trying to test this out to see how this is going to work. Stay single until you love someone so deeply it makes your expectations towards them disappear. Yeah, the only expectation that you have is a guarantee that they are doing okay. You care about this person that much. Their happiness is yours and nothing else matters. Stay single until you love someone so much it genuinely nurtures your soul. Okay. That's how long they say y'all should stay single. Stay single until you love someone so real it doesn't feel irrational. So I guess they want that crazy kind of love, crazy, stupid love. Okay. Stay single until you love someone so sincerely it makes you more aware of your surroundings. It makes you feel the need to help others again and again. It makes you understand that love doesn't mean anything unless it's being shared with other people. Stay single until you love someone so passionately it makes you stronger instead of breaking you apart. Okay. Your love towards them, in other words, never feels complicated. It makes you feel secure. Stay single until you love someone without losing yourself. That's the number one thing that often happens in relationships. Sometimes we end up in these one-sided relationships, and you find out in the end when there's a breakup that the whole time you were not a priority for him or her, however your relationship is set up. Okay. Stay single until you love someone so purely it doesn't make you feel scared of letting go. Thus, you seize every moment and you keep them close to your heart without holding them too tight. Stay single until your love towards this person doesn't hurt. If you feel good about yourself because of the love that you possess, the universe will give the same kind of love to you from other people as well. Okay. Any comments on that article? Just curious. I find it fascinating. I was like, that's nice. In Kim and in Kim Kardashian and Kanye news. Now this story had me laughing my ass off. So, Kanye has had a lot to say about women being decent and in order, and I'm particularly offended by how him and Kim jumped fool on Amber Rose. Amber Rose is his ex. Amber ultimately ended up marrying what's the man that's skinny that looked like Wiz Khalifa. Ended up marrying Wiz Khalifa ultimately. But when Kanye got with Kim, he said something about he had to take multiple showers and clean himself until he had washed the hoe or whatever off of him. But I'm like, you were with that slut or whatever you're calling her. And so anyways, Kim Kardashian, according to Elle, wasn't having Kanye West gross remark her Met Gala dress was too sexy for her to wear. Now, so I guess on that show that's still on E, I don't know how they still got a show, but it just goes to show you how people will watch anything these days, okay? So Kim, I guess he had rolled up on Kim the night before the gala. He had already seen this dress. He said, I went through this transition where being a rapper, looking at all these girls and looking at my wife like, oh, my girl needs to be just like the other girls, showing their body off. I didn't realize it was affecting my soul and my spirit. As someone who is married and the father of now about to be 4 kids, a corset is a form of underwear. It's hot for you though. It's hot for you. For who though? So she was like, so the night before the Met, you're going to come in here and say that you're not into a corset vibe. You're giving me really bad anxiety. You knew last night I had really bad anxiety. I don't need any negative energy. And for you to say you're now not into me wearing a tight dress. And he was like, you're my wife and it affects me when pictures are too sexy. She told him point blank, period. You built me up to be this sexy person and confidence and all this. And just because you're on a journey and transformation doesn't mean I'm in the same spot with you. And also, Elle wanted to note that we should not forget that the Bound 2 video she starred in, she rides on a motorbike through his presumed desertscape of West Mine butt naked. Okay, so he didn't have a problem with her being bound to him naked and in his fantasy world. And also, let us not forget that Kim's foundation of a career is not built on her being what's her name, Mother Teresa. We all know it is derived, the foundation of her career, the platform upon which her family's famous lives are built is what? On a sex tape with Ray J, of all people. So I'm trying to figure out what Kanye thought, and I hate to preface it this way, but you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, okay? And although she may not have been a literal hoe, it can be construed by the peanut gallery that is in fact what she was. She was out hoeing, okay? Also, if y'all realize in the past few years, Kim and Kanye have been very active and very proactive and being preemptive before 2024 because Kanye wants to run for president. That sounds insane in the membrane, but hey, things can't get any more insane than having Angry Wig as our current president, okay? Which we need to do something about that. And God rest Elijah Cummings' soul. He died fighting the good fight, Jesus, Lord. But anyway, Kim and Kanye, I hope that y'all work that out. And although people are judging Kim for doing the work of the Lord, amen, with the criminals and stuff, let me just say this. I subscribe always to the philosophy of Romans 8:28. Hey, if I get out of prison for being innocent and it's because of Kim Kardashian, I'd be grateful. Thank you, Jesus. That's what I would say. He sent Kim. Okay, there you go. Meanwhile, across town, don't you? R. Kelly, who cannot read or write, accused of sending threatening letters to his alleged victims, y'all. I say, He ain't even hooked on phonics shit. Y'all can't give him no hooked on phonics while he down here to the jail. I'm just asking for a friend. Okay, that would be so nice if y'all would do that for him. You might think that being in prison would inhibit your ability to commit additional crimes, but that's not always the case. And according to reports from The Blast, according to Madame Noir, the Blast defamed singer, they state that the defamed singer R. Kelly is allegedly intimidating his victims with threatening letters. How comical is that? Okay. So the documents obtained by the Blast claim that Kelly sent a typewritten letter to the lawyer, then represent Jane number 5, threatening to release compromising and potentially embarrassing photographs of Jane Doe number 5 if she pursued her civil lawsuit against the defendant. The letter sent, which was provided to the defense as part of the government's discovery, includes certain photographs and screenshots of text messages and exchanges between the defendant. Y'all know one of his girls that refuses to leave his side wrote that shit and sent that to him. How he gonna send a letter, off to anybody? I mean, ain't nobody buying that, okay? I'm just saying, nobody buying that, okay? Anyway, R. Kelly, while you are in solitary confinement, get hooked on phonics, baby. Ask them, can you get you a little, what's them little brown, my first tape recorder, Fisher Price, and some headphones. You be all right, baby. Be all right. By the way, white people, I just want to let y'all know, again, Kanye is in the news. He does not speak for all black people. The Root has reported that, during Kanye's church services in Utah, once again, he has given white people misinformation and hope about how we view slavery. Okay. So Kanye said that it was about 7,000 to 10,000 people gathered at Gateway Center in Salt Lake City on Saturday for West's infamous Sunday service, which has given many observers a cult-like vibe, okay? Well, during Saturday service, West decided against better judgment, whatever that may be, to bring up the topic of slavery once again. He said, that's the Republican Party that freed the slaves. But for a year, people want to call me a coon. I ain't never made a decision only based on my color. That's a form of slavery, mental slavery. See, it's a conspiracy. Okay, he didn't do all that, but y'all know how I feel about that. You're black, so you can't like Trump, West said, mimicking his critics. Two things. For one, the Republican Party then didn't have the same principles that we associate the Republican Party of today. This is true, y'all. Republicans became increasingly associated with big business and financial interests in the more industrialized North during the Reconstruction era. And as we also know, that Lincoln, who was a Republican, has been quoted as saying that if he could have freed the South, if he could have saved the South without freeing the slaves, he would have. But again, Romans 8:28 in full effect, for we know that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. Amen. As you know, they took away our culture and our ancestors' culture and gave us Bibles. So, there we go. Yeah. I'm just saying. But anyway, Kanye does not speak for all black people. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised at how dumbed down he has become, because one thing I know about Donda West, she raised him to be educated. And, he was raised with book knowledge and all of that. So I really don't know where Kanye is coming from with all of this, but okay. And as History.com further explains, and we'll get a history lesson out of this, though the centrist Republican Dwight D. Howard, who was president from 1953 to 1961, actively supported equal rights for women and African Americans, a conservative resurgence led by Barry Goldwater's nomination as president in 1964 continued with Richard Nixon's ill-fated presidency and reached its culmination with the election of Ronald Reagan in 1980. The South saw a major political sea change starting after World War II, as many white Southerners began migrating to the GOP due to their opposition to big government, expanded labor unions, and democratic support for civil rights, as well as conservative Christians' opposition to abortion and other cultural war issues. Meanwhile, many black voters who had remained loyal to the Republican Party since the Civil War began voting Democratic after the Depression and the New Deal. So it was like a switcheroo. I'm going to be honest. I really don't trust any of the parties, but I'm going to go with the party that probably pretty much seemingly supports some of the things that I want, like my student loans forgiven. Shout out to Elizabeth Warren. So I don't know. And Bernie Sanders, but Bernie's been having some health challenges. So I don't know. And I don't watch the debates. I really don't get into politics as much as I used to. You know, after Angry Whig got elected, I've just been sorely disappointed in the process in which this country, in the direction in which this country has been going. So God forgive me for being underinformed, but that's just how I see it. Oh, what's this about Rihanna? So I think everyone thinks that, okay, Colin settled his case with the NFL, right? Jay-Z is now part of the entertainment for the NFL. But Rihanna still stands, and she says she couldn't be a sellout because Colin Kaepernick still doesn't have a job in the NFL. And it's my understanding that Kansas City recently said that they would gladly hire him to play on their team. So she said, when was this? She said, it was widely reported Riri rejected an offer to perform on February 3rd, 2019 for Super Bowl 53 halftime show. In her cover story with Vogue, the singer confirmed she was taking a stand against the league. I couldn't dare do that. For what? Who gains from that? Not my people, Rihanna says. I just couldn't be a sellout. I couldn't be an enabler. There's things within the organization that I do not agree with at all, and I was not about to go and be of service to them in any way. At the time, Rihanna wasn't shy about her displeasure with the Shield, and she even mocked the league in a video she posted while on the airplane during Super Bowl. The NFL ultimately landed Maroon 5 and Travis Scott. To this day, I couldn't tell y'all one song that Travis Scott has done, and I think they also had like some of the Atlanta locals in there. I know like Big Boy or whomever. But yeah, I still don't watch football games, and it seems like a lot of people are back to watching it. I just support the Cowboys as far as I don't even know if they're winning or losing, honestly. And I honestly don't even know who's on the team, but because I'm from Dallas and I love Dallas. And then I just found out my new manager loves Dallas Cowboys. So go Cowboys. Okay. But shout out to Rihanna for taking a stand. Okay, and in more financial aid scandals, a brother at Drexel decided, he would be a pilferer. I don't know why this is up. Don't nobody want to hear that. So, prosecutor, Drexel University professor spent federal grants at strip clubs. Okay. A former university professor in Philadelphia spent federal grant money on strip clubs and other personal expenses. Chika Wangpa misappropriated grant money from the Navy, the Department of Energy, and the National Science Foundation over a period of 10 years, the U.S. Attorney's Office said. Drexel University discovered the alleged fraud in 2017 during an internal audit and alerted the government. Most of the money was spent on strip clubs and sports bars in the Philadelphia area, according to a news release. This is an example of flagrant and audacious fraud and a shameful misuse of public funds, said U.S. Attorney William McSwain. The agencies providing these grant funds expect them to be used towards advancements in energy and naval technology for public benefit, not for personal entertainment. McSwain lauded Drexel for reporting the matter, but expressed disappointment that Wangpa's conduct went unnoticed for so long. Drexel has agreed to pay $189,000 to resolve its potential civil liability in the case. The university said in the statement that it takes allegations of unethical or unlawful business conduct very seriously, adding that it has improved its auditing controls. Wangpa repaid more than $53,000, resigned from Drexel, and was barred from federal contracting for 6 months. Prosecutor says he has not been charged with the crime. A message seeking a comment was left at a number for him, who worked at Drexel for 27 years until his 2017 resignation. An online profile for him said he is a self-employed as an engineering consultant. Well, apparently he's not an engineering consultant now for the government now, is he? Because clearly he was down there. Because remember that dude from Howard University that was doing all of that stunting for the gram, but he was still, I said, hell, that's probably why Clark, I still don't know where the rest of my financial aid went for the summer semester. Anyway. Meanwhile, I don't know her either. So I don't watch growing up hip hop, but apparently there is a young lady, Kid Capri's daughter, I guess Vina or Vina Love, has been crowned as the princess of R&B soul. I don't know her song either. That's a heavy title for any newcomer to the music scene. All eyes have been on the beautiful Vina Love since her single Air dropped in 2017. I didn't even know she had dropped a single. The track was so good that it got the attention of hip-hop legend Snoop Dogg for the remix, which was released later that year. I'm going to have to look this song up. She's the daughter of DJ legend Kid Capri, brings her own unique brand of charm to the mic. She raps, she sings, and recently she's been seen on WeTV's Growing Up Hip Hop New York. It's obvious that Love has a lot to say and even more to sing about, so Rolling Out caught up with her to find out more. Okay. I don't know who she is, but I mean, that's a new title, because who's the princess of R&B? Aaliyah. Rest in peace. By the way, y'all, Keke Wyatt has been fruitful and has been multiplying the earth 10 children over. Her and her husband are expecting what is her 10th child, and I think this is his first child. A lot of people had a lot to say about Keke's womb being tired, and oh my God, I can't believe, that she's pregnant again. What I find interesting is there's a lot of people that are Christian, and I'm just like, well, ain't you supposed to be married and having babies? Ain't that the rule of thumb? And number two, the Bible do say be fruitful and multiply, and maybe she's trying to get a goal of 12. There was a book called Cheaper by the Dozen that was based on a true story, and Jesus walked with 12. Okay, maybe she's trying to get 12, or maybe 10 is it, because when you have a husband and wife, they make 12 people. Or maybe there'll be 11th baby, and then there'll be 13 people, and it'll be just like Jesus and the disciples. I ain't saying, I'm just saying. But congratulations, Keke, if she's happy. The only problem I have with Keke getting pregnant like this again is because someone, and I'll have to look this up, someone advised that Keke said that is the only time that she feels beautiful. And she said that she has an issue. Now, if y'all watched R&B Divas, the Atlanta leg of it, Keke was on there. People always are complaining about the fact that Keke is so talented, but her music just has not made it to main. Like, she's not at the level of, let's say, a Whitney Houston, Anita Baker, those types, because she has a voice that reaches that level. Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, Aretha Franklin. She has a voice, and yet she continues to be petty and childish. And, that's why her career pretty much is not taking off. Because, she was burping during a business meeting where someone was trying to get with her for management purposes. And it was just really a hot ass mess. So, I don't know. And, the woman can sing. I love to hear Keke sing. She has a beautiful voice, and I think she really is a beautiful soul. But God bless her and her family, her growing family. Okay. Now, Justin J, one of my favorite YouTube bloggers, he has posted. Now, I know Todrick is very popular, and I'm not fully versed in Todrick's stuff, but I know a couple of my friends have worked with him on some projects in Hollywood. But according to the King of Reads blog, Todrick Hall is called out by former dancer for colorism and outstanding debts. He is talented indeed, but that talent is squandered by coonery. Twitter tea is piping hot with details about what's truly like to work with Todrick Hall, the multifaceted YouTuber best known for his original songs and parodies, have been accused by a former dancer for questionable payment practices and off-color behavior. Dancer choreographer Tom White shared some disappointing details about what goes on behind the scenes of a Todrick Hall production. Through a series of juicy tweets, he spilled tea about Todrick's on-set colorism and poor business management. Tom, who was featured in Nails, Hair, Hips, Heels, and Todrick's recent release, FG, stated the singer frequently hires multitudes of dancers for unpaid gigs. Reminiscing over the first shoot, Tom says Todrick needed more than 60 performers for the job, but lamented he did not have the budget to compensate everyone accordingly. Acknowledging he wasn't prepared to bear the expense of his talent, Todrick still boasted how much he was spending on the production, which was $60,000 at the time. Adding further insult to injury, Tom shared Todrick often made comments about the sheer number of black dancers in his ensemble and went so far as to request lighter people to stand behind him. According to Tom, a tour dancer overheard the comments as well. During Tom's second appearance, a paid opportunity, Todrick remarked it was weird that FG was his first time having an exclusively black cast for his video. The Nails, Hair, Lips, Heels video was subjected to harsh criticism for its outright whitewashing of ballroom culture. During a ballroom scene, the infamous dip was renamed Shabalom and negatively received by viewers. However, Todrick was unmoved by Tom, who attempted to explain the importance of maintaining the lingo of a heavily appropriate space. As far as him being the scammer when it comes to paying what is owed, Todrick allegedly has a history of underperforming. The entertainer has been accused of non-payment by numerous dancers, including Tom Wright and several others, and a production assistant, claiming to have worked on Todrick's Forbidden Visual album. The crew member says Todrick wasn't responding to invoices. That's why I'm going to tell y'all right now. Quiet as it's kept. People don't know this. A lot of people think the glitz and glamour of Hollywood is great, but let me tell you something. It's cool being a celebrity hairdresser because what ends up happening, you end up getting more bookings from the general public, which is good because sometimes these superstars don't pay. Now, for whatever reason, it could be by neglect on the management part, or it could be just that they don't want to pay you. And they may not actually even have the money anyway, because all that glitter ain't always gold, honey. Sometimes it's just coated with golds. Okay. So either way, Todrick, get your shit together, honey, and start paying these people. And I will say this, there are a lot of gigs for people who are functioning on a small budget that will not pay background people. And often what happens is they get like IMDb credit or some sort. And that's something they can put on their resume for further bookings. But if y'all feel like y'all should have been compensated, start a class action on things like this. Hell, interns have done it. And finally, my beautiful soror, who keeps putting out great content time and time again, soror Ava DuVernay has been sued for defamation in Netflix miniseries When They See Us. Honey, if she wasn't doing something right and telling the truth and shaming the devil, of course they wouldn't be suing her. Okay. So here's what happened. So in a lawsuit obtained by TMZ, according to Rolling Out, attorneys for John Reed and Associates, the Chicago company named for a former police officer and the creator of an interrogation method known as the Reed technique, claims it was defamed by the way its technique was characterized during the Netflix series and said to have been used by investigators during their questioning of the young suspects formerly known as the Central Park Five. During episode 4 of the 4-part miniseries, the Reed technique was mentioned during a scene involving a conversation between one of the staff members on the prosecution team and the detective about the severity of police interrogation. In the scene, the prosecution staff member says to the detective, "You squeeze statements out of them after 42 hours of questioning and coercing without food, bathroom breaks, withholding parental supervision. The Reed technique has been universally rejected. Now, Reed's attorneys, Reed and Associates, argues in his lawsuit the company's technique does not deny minors their rights, supervision of parents, or physical harm. All of them were mentioned in the Mirror series to describe his technique. The company also is defending against claims that its technique has been universally rejected. In July, after the release of When They See Us, TMZ reports that the company had demanded a retraction, but Netflix refused. Along with this lawsuit, the publication says Reed and Associates is seeking a hefty portion of the miniseries profits as well as damages. So they want punitive damages, apparently. Neither Netflix nor DuVernay have released any public statement regarding the lawsuit. All I can tell you is good luck with that, because it's based on the Central Park 5 experience. And what those young men experienced at the time was egregious, abuse of power, you name it. That's what happened to them. And so if that is your technique, well, someone misused it and misconstrued it. So if that's what they said they were using at the time, then that's bad on y'all. And really, I don't think you have a case. And I think it should be kicked out and dismissed. So either way, y'all, that concludes a Diva Disturbed After Dark Friday Night Live. Thank you all who did watch but didn't say anything. I'm like, I want to have a dialogue and a conversation like we used to, but I know it's going to take some getting used to, because like I said, I used to do these all the time on Friday nights when I wasn't going out or doing stand-up. And again, a Diva Disturbed, that future is unknown for that show on the radio. But I will continue to do my Tuesday nights regardless of what happens. I will continue to do 9:30 to 11 because we built that time frame in. As time goes on, I'll tell you more about what happened with that. But other than that, thank you guys for joining. And I've been Miss Sophia the Diva, and I may see y'all Tuesday, where my guest will be Zarian Newbill, who is a transgender woman on the Diva Disturbed. Thank you guys who have been supporting the show by your views as well as your financial contributions. It is much appreciated. Anyways, that's all I got. Y'all have a good night.